Thank you. Yeah. Thank you all. Jane, thank you for that very kind introduction. I must say thank you all that are here today for Jane and for her campaign. I think she's a great candidate. She's going to do a great job, and I'll have a little bit more to say about that in a moment. But also, it's always nice to be in Buffalo. I've been here more times than I can count, looking at Paxton and Reynolds. The other guy was in this seat before that, or during this time, and for all of you that I've met many times here in Buffalo, it's nice to be back, and it's always nice to be here on a sunny day in Buffalo. You know, this special election comes at a critical time. Washington Democrats are hoping they can steal this election so they can continue to move their agenda, which is more taxes and higher spending. And I think that all of you being here today shows that people in Western New York have a different agenda and want something done about the spending problem we have in Washington, D.C. You know, the president, he wants to raise taxes. Why? Because they want to continue to spend. And you cannot give politicians in Washington enough money because they will spend it, spend it, and spend it. And it's time to say no. And over the course of the last several months, we've said no a lot. And we're going to continue to say no to higher taxes and more spending from Washington. You know, last November, the American people repudiated the bailout, stimulus, and tax and spend agenda from Washington. We elected 87 new freshman Republicans to the U.S. House. They make up more than one-third of our majority. And what did the American people want? They want something done about jobs, and they want something done about spending. But our 87 freshmen have brought new energy to the U.S. House. They're good people who are there to do the right things. And we began by opening up the House, allowing legislators to be legislators once again. Allow the American people to actually read the bills before we bring them to the floor. Novel idea. You know, we banned pork barrel projects. We passed a bill that would repeal the president's health care law. And we've cut billions of dollars of unnecessary government spending. As a matter of fact, this fiscal year, we will spend $79 billion less than what the president wanted to spend this year in that one-third of the budget that we fight about all year called the discretionary side. $38.5 billion less than what we actually spent last year. But I think all of you know there's a lot more that needs to be done. Unemployment remains unacceptably high. Gas prices are out of control, and we're piling more debt on the backs of our kids and our grandkids. Americans want more freedom, and they want more opportunity. They want us to quit spending money that we don't have. But Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama refuse to listen to the American people. They're the ones that have asked us to increase the debt limit without doing anything about the source of the problem. Well, we've got a chance to tell Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama that we want a different agenda. We can remind Washington of what they said last November by electing Jane Corwin in this special election here in New York. Listen, there are several candidates in this election, but there is only one conservative candidate in this election, and that's Jane Corwin. Jane will work with us to stand up to Nancy Pelosi and the liberals in Washington, D.C., and say no to the bailouts, say no to the stimulus, and say no to the continued tax and spend crowd that's down there. She'll be a dependable voice for Western New York. Listen, as you heard, Jane comes from a small business background, just like I did. I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd ever do something like this. I was running my business and got involved in my neighborhood homeowners association and ended up in the United States Congress. Oh, no, this too could happen to you. And I think it's going to happen to Jane as well. Listen, Jane's met a payroll. Jane knows what it's like to have to deal with government regulations and more government regulations and more government regulations, while the colleagues that we work with in Washington far too many times, they've never had a real job, much less ever run anything. And what we need are real people from the real world to take a more active interest in their government. And Jane has that real world experience, that small business background, that I think will be very valuable to the people of Western New York, and I can tell you, very valuable to my Republican colleagues and I in the Congress itself. Listen, we've got 2 weeks to go. 2 weeks where we've got to win this race. And I'll forget about all the polls, because polls have never elected anyone. Only those who show up and vote get to decide who the next congressperson is going to be from this district. So on behalf of our team, I'm glad to be here. But I'm also here to say this is the time that we have to do everything that we can do in order to win this election. Whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's making those phone calls, because we've got to turn out every conservative voter in this district to make sure that Jane Corwin is the next congresswoman from this congressional district. So thank you all for what you're doing. Keep up the great job. And just remember this, my old motto, never, ever, ever give up. And if you don't, Jane's not going to. She'll be the next congresswoman from this congressional district. Thank you all for being here.